friends, if you were like, Laura, you've been having some great recommendations this month for the 25 days of shoujo manga, but can we please have a shorter series? Today is that kind of manga recommendation video. Hello friends, I am so very excited that you're here. As I shared, I am finally spotlighting a shorter series because I know I had a lot of the videos I posted this month have actually been a backlog of reviews I've just had saved and waiting for an occasion, and this month has definitely been it. But I was like, I would really love to try and spotlight some shorter series too, because I know there's just times where you can't commit to a long series, regardless of how amazing, how great it is. You just need that short series. Today, like I said, is that day. I'm going to be talking about the manga Kenka Bancho Otome Loves Battle Royale. That is a handful of a title. As I said, it's 2 volumes, and I absolutely love this cover. I love this pink one, and I also love this blue one. I love how these both look. Like, they're just fun. I feel like they really capture just the fun elements of this story, and definitely the Otome aspect, because you have all these different guys, and you do even have, you have some different guys on the back as well, and it is such a fun read. It is based off of an Otome game, and I will have more thoughts on that later, but in case if you're not familiar with this series, because I think it was Marg at Marguerite's Manga, she had read this, and it's been on my radar since, because she did say that she enjoyed it, and for my birthday earlier this year, I saw that our local second in Charles had it, and I was like, picking it up ASAP because I knew our library didn't have this. But anyway, if you're not familiar with this series, it is about our main girl here. Her name is Hinako. She was an orphan. She lived in an orphanage for almost all of her life, basically, and she is about to enter high school. Yeah, about to enter high school. She's on her way to an all-girls academy. She's very excited. She's like, I'm gonna make friends. And then this guy bumps into her, and suddenly he's like, my arm is broken. I need you to go to my school, which is an all-boys academy, and go in my place to the local or to the school ceremony, because if you don't, I could get kicked out and it'd just be really bad news. And she's like, like, what? And the thing is as well, the guy that bumps into her looks just like her, but as a boy. So she's totally like, what is going on? But she agrees because he's like, oh, my arm is broken. And so she goes. What she doesn't know is this is an all boys academy for delinquents. And like the very first day at the school ceremony, the whole thing is just guys beating each other up to see who's going to be the boss of that grade year. And she feels completely in over her head. But surprisingly, she stands her ground, and she has some things that happen, and anyway, her day goes smoothly, I guess as smoothly as one can go, and she finds out that the guy who bumped into her is her twin brother, and he wants to switch places with her, where he's like, I don't want to live this lifestyle of fighting because there's some things with that, and he's like, I don't want to do that anymore. We're going to switch places. You sort of owe me, I guess, so you go to the all-boys academy because you know how to fight, since she was taught how to defend and protect herself at the orphanage. So you go to that school, and I'm going to go to your all-girl school and not have to worry about fighting anymore. And thus, that is the premise of this series, and it is a wild ride. It is very, very fun. In fact, I started this, well, it's actually sort of unrelated, but I was actually really nervous about the gender swapping. I've never read a manga like that, and I guess I have felt uncomfortable with it because I'm like, well, I don't want somebody to fall in love with her and then them not realize that she's actually been disguising herself as a guy, because I forgot to mention that at the beginning, that she goes and dresses herself as a guy to go to this school. And I'm like, well, I don't want anybody to fall in love with her and then they'll be like, yo, you're a girl. And so I was really nervous about that, and I actually skimmed through it beforehand so that I could have hopefully some answers to my concerns, and I did. It makes me excited because there is a sports manga, or a low-key sports manga, that I found out that's published by Kodansha. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It's something Life. I will put it right here so you can check it out, and it has volleyball in it. It has volleyball, and I'm like, how has nobody ever told me about this series? So since that one is a similar premise where her brother is like, I want you to switch places with me. I don't want to go to school. I want to go do something else. And you pretend to be me. And she disguises as a guy, goes to this all boys academy, and they have that exact same similar premise. That's all I'll say, because I don't want to get off topic here and talk about different manga. But I was excited because I felt very comfortable with this series. There were times it was a little bit odd because of just different things, because this is an Otome game. game, and or it's based off of one. And this is my first. Sorry, I feel like I'm getting excited and tongue-tied, so I do apologize, friends. But this is my first actual Otome game like story I've ever read. I've definitely read the villainous Otome game genre kind of thing, but reading it where she's not the villainous and she is the heroine was really interesting. And I totally confess that I was like, I totally wish I could play this game because I love Hinako. She is so amazing. And I agree with the Monica when they mentioned at the beginning of volume 1, they were like, if I was her, I would just stay in the nurse's office because there's no teachers or anything like that. So there's just plenty and plenty of fighting. Nothing like, I was gonna say violent, but nothing graphic or anything. But like people are getting punched, they're getting beat up, and occasionally there's blood. And it's just like, oh my goodness, I would just, stay in the nurse's office and never leave that room for any single reason. Because of that, it makes Hinako a really amazing character that even though, yes, she knows how to fight, it's like you're constantly on edge. She's constantly having to defend herself if need be. And she's like, I just want to make a friend. I just want to make a friend. She does. She does make a friend. And one of my favorite guys is actually him, Totomaru. He is a precious being. I loved his character so much, and I felt bad for him because he definitely knows. I feel like subconsciously, he definitely knows something is up with Hinako because, you know, she has to always wear a shirt and she always leaves like say like the changing room or something like that, you know, so nobody finds out, and she's totally uncomfortable. And there's times where like she'll accidentally scream and they're like, dude, you just sounded like a girl. And so like here's a good panel of him, and the Monica talked about how like she's always making him blush, and it is the cutest thing. It is the cutest thing. So I feel like subconsciously he knows something is up. There's funny things that happen with him because of that, because she has these moments where she definitely has the aura of a girl and acts like a girl. He even questioned like, are you really a guy? It's so good. It is so good. I really, really loved his character. In fact, probably one of the funnest parts of this story, besides the fighting that goes on and seeing Hinako like react and what she's going to do and how she's going to maneuver around this gender swapping, because it creates so much stress and unexpected things just keep happening. And it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. We could sum that up, say it's a hot mess, but the characters, all of them are so great. Like I really, really enjoyed it. After reading this, I understood the popularity of Otome games because it's just fun. It's fun getting to know these different guys. Granted, I realized like when you read an Otome or when you play an Otome game, usually it ends in a romantic end game. So there's things, we'll talk about that later. But going back, I love his character so very much. He is such a precious little being, and there is such a cool fight panel of them that I loved. I loved it so very much. I was like, dude, they look awesome. I have to find it. Here we go. I found it. Look at them. I'm not going to say why she's dressed like that, but oh my goodness, they just look so cool. I was like, they look so cool. And it's just an amazing character. He is definitely my favorite. I feel like, I guess if I was playing the game, I'd be like, make him the end game. He needs to be the ship that sails because he's just a precious little being. I was about to show another panel, but that was near the end, so we won't show that one. But let's talk about Kira, who is another, I guess he would be considered a potential love interest. I really liked his character a lot. I wish we could have seen more of him because since there is like 5 or 6 guys, you don't spend a lot of time with each male, though Totomaru, yes, he definitely gets some extra page time, rightfully so in my opinion, but I really did like him. He is, I don't know how much I should say because I'm like, this is a 2-volume series and I don't want to go into spoilers by accident, so I guess I'll just say my thoughts briefly on each character instead. I really liked him. Sorry, I know I said that twice already, but he was an interesting character, and I always enjoyed when he came on page because he is very protective, and he is just he has a very nice art style, and he's just really cool. Sorry, guys. That was like zero helpful. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to go into spoilers, so just know he was, out of all the characters, he would definitely be my second favorite because I definitely felt conflicted in the romance where I was like, I want Hinako to be with him. And then I felt so conflicted between these two guys, like very, very, very much so. This guy here is another character, and I really liked him. He, like each of these guys has a unique role in Hinako's life, and she has an interesting friendship with both of them. And I love seeing those elements explored, seeing how she grows closer to that character, not necessarily in a romantic way, but just in a friendship kind of way. And it was very wonderful to see how she would support each of them in unique and special ways and how they would grow closer. It was very cool. It was very cool because I feel like each guy has his own personality, which I feel like is obvious because each character is unique. But I don't know, it felt different. It just felt different to me because, I don't know, I guess maybe somewhere in the back of my mind, I was like, that's too many guys to keep up with. But because of how distinctly different each one of them are, it didn't feel that way. It felt just like a very, very fun ride to read this series. But the reason I was struggling too earlier of trying to explain my thoughts about Kira and Totomaru and such is I'm going to do a big, massive spoiler for the ending. Please mute this or skip ahead, but don't listen to this if you don't want the ending to get spoiled for you. You ready? Here we go. I love the series, okay? I really, really enjoyed it. But when we got to the end, I was so disappointed. In fact, I almost gave the second volume 2 stars because I was so heartbroken that there's no endgame in this manga. That's not a bad thing. But I was realizing that I was starting to feel expectations. I was like, I'm starting to ship this shipper, starting to ship this one, and I want it to be a thing. But the way it ends is not bad. It makes you want to go play the game. And the game is not available in English. It's not available in the States. And I just felt really crushed by that. I felt really crushed that I was like, I don't know who she ends up with, and it made me want to go play so I could make her own romance for her. Which I said, it's not a bad thing. That's a great marketing strategy, but I wanted to share that. I wanted to share that because it played a huge role. I didn't give it 2 stars, but I did knock it down a star because I feel if I would have realized going in that there was not going to be a romantic endgame, because I just was like, I want you to tell one of these guys your real identity and that you guys have your own special relationship that's not a friendship. That's what I started wanting, but that's not what you get. So please keep that in mind of how that ending unfolds. Again, it's not bad, but I do agree with another reviewer that said it felt unfinished because it makes you want to play the game. Okay, spoilers over. Thank you for letting me share that because it really definitely affected the ending of my thoughts on the end. But outside of that, this was so much fun to read. Again, I love the characters. I feel like I can't say too much because of spoilers, but I will say I really like this guy. He is so fun, and I was like, I loved just his interactions with Hinako. I think the only guy I legit felt some creepy status. I did not like him. He is this guy. He is sort of the person that looks over, what is his name? Yeah, okay, I had to go look up his name. Is Hikaru, because that's the brother. Hikaru is the brother, which you can't tell when you look at these. But I did not like him. I honestly thought he was pretty creepy. He was probably like the least favorite part of this series. The fight scenes were really good. As I showed that one panel earlier, I should look at the first volume. Like right from the beginning, it opens up with a bang. Like she's basically coming into this where they're just wanting to beat people up and she has no idea what's going on. And yeah, in that specific scene, she's trying to act like a boy, and she's like, muscles, and they're like, what is this? Are you making fun of me? And so sometimes she'll say things that totally backfire, and she definitely does not mean to, but she gives it her all. I love how right here when she says, I feel kind of happy, how her story, how she feels. I wouldn't say she hated being at this delinquent school, but it was not what she had hoped for. It was not what she anticipated. But when she starts making these friends, she really just thrives as a female character. And even though there's not many times you see her actually dress up as a female because her brother is adamant they must be in their disguises all the time because you never know if there could be a surprise and that happens, and they're like, we just can't let that happen. So if you're looking for a short series to check out that is just a fun and fast read, I would check this one out. Like I said, it will make you want to play the game afterwards, and if you've played the game, I'd love to hear your thoughts because I just am very, very curious about it, and it definitely made me want to go check out some Otome games that are available in English. But I would love to hear from you, friends. Have you guys read this series? What did you think? Have you played Otome games? Are there any that you recommend? I would love to hear from you, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!